Hello everyone, today we're taking a look at the RC Toolkit M6DAC and the ISDT K1 charger, but not only that, let's throw this graphic up on screen. You can see I've also got the Hota D6 Pro in those stats, and I've kind of highlighted some things that are slightly different to draw your attention to them. Main reason I wanted to do this is I hear a lot about the Hota D6 Pro and how it's kind of, I don't want to call it an industry standard, but it's one that a lot of people have. It's been very popular. It's sold across FPV shops all over the place. And so I thought, let's bring that one in and do a at least on-screen comparison. I have never owned the Hota D6 Pro. Those of you that do, leave your experiences down in the comment section. Those of you that watch, I think charger videos are probably the least exciting. You know, most of us want to see something fly or some new sort of technology in our hobby. You can see there on the total DC power, things are a little bit different. On the ISDT K1, it's 250 watts at both channels versus I think it's kind of split on the others. And then we have down a little bit lower, we have the max current balance charging. And I couldn't find on the ISDT K1, at least on their website and the seller's websites for that charger, the max discharger rate, as well as the USB power output. I should draw your attention to the fact that the K1 has the USB-C port right up front here, and then the M6DAC has a USB port in the back. Something else that I also thought was fairly interesting about ISDT, all these companies have been around making chargers for our hobby for quite a while. They've got their plug, which is a three-prong plug, and then they've got their battery connector right over here. They've got them in this corner, which I think is pretty smart because we don't. It stops us from doing something silly like trying to plug them both in. And we'll turn them on and take a look at things here in just a moment. But I wanted to give you an opportunity just to see them. Of course, RC Toolkit sent these out to a lot of people who make YouTube videos, and they put stickers on them. And then they sent some more stickers. I don't tend to stickerize stuff, so I guess I'll be putting these in giveaway boxes next time we do a giveaway. So expect to see some of these. And this is right up here. Little stack of my own sort of stickers, die cut stickers, I believe they're called. I include one of those in every giveaway box as well. If you own either of these, because they have been out a while, I would sure like to know a broader experience from those of you that are watching this video, your experiences with these. I've owned both of these. I'm actually currently running 5 chargers, I think it is, and they're a mix between these brands and other brands as well. I do have a charger. I had the RC Toolkit recently that featured 4-channel, and it's just a low power. So for me, I really like that one because it had 4 ports. I didn't have to mess with a parallel charging board, such as something like this. And when you're doing these things, you need to make sure the voltage is relatively close and really monitor things. I think it's possible that more accidents with batteries happen when using a parallel charging board, but if you are looking for one, this one happens to be from Thor, and it's sold by HGLRC, and it's also got a discharging area down here. I don't use these things very often. It's really rare. I tested this one out just to make sure it worked. Wasn't anything really weird or quirky. I did notice these fuses were really hard to get in and out. They are really secured in there, but you can kind of see it's a 2-layer to where it's got this top layer that's plexi. I think it's for design because it doesn't seem to secure anything in the board. I guess it does serve one purpose of making sure we get the balance leads plugged in properly. It's got little notches for those. But if you want one of these, for whatever reason, big thick wires, XT60s, yeah, link in the video description as always. And if you're over there looking at the HGLRC Thor parallel charging board, they also have dischargers. These happen to be XT60s as well. I believe when I looked, after I initially got these, I looked and they did have XT30 versions. But if not, we can always make adapters. I have to do that all the time for charging purposes because most of my batteries are XT30. Another feature that we oftentimes have to look at and consider, at least from my standpoint, I want to consider it, is the interface. This one is angled a little bit, so from that overhead camera, it may look a little wonky. Let me square that up and then refocus the camera so you can get a better look. Don't know how well that will come through on camera, but this is kind of the best way I thought to film this. As far as the screens go, obviously the RC Toolkit has a much larger screen. It uses a roller ball to select stuff and then a button as well, whereas the ISDT uses buttons. You may have a preference with that. The ISDT also does come with a dark mode, which we'll take a look at the end of the video. So, kind of like with your browsers and other sorts of applications, that you can make them go into a dark mode, which I guess in the case of mobile, if it's a true dark, the pixel wouldn't be lit, so therefore you would be saving some battery life. Otherwise, it's just easier on your eyes. Let's plug in a battery to each of these, and we'll take a little deeper dive. We're going to go fairly quick because, again, these videos are generally not the most popular. Oh, I'm going to have to get adapters out because both of these batteries are XT30, and both of the chargers feature XT60 connections, so I will get a adapter. So I've got my batteries. Let me just shove these up just a touch. I got my batteries connected here, and you can see it displays the voltage for both of them. And to get started on charging, you just go in here and you select what you've got for LiPo on this RC Toolkit. We've got LiPo, high voltage LiPo, Fe, lithium ion, nickel metal hydride, PB, power, UAV, BAT. Of course, we're going to go LiPo. I charge all my batteries on LiPo, even if they say HV. I only charge single cell batteries, such as 1S batteries like this, to actual HV voltage, 4.35. Otherwise, it's just standard voltage for me across the board. That's a question I do get from time to time. You can see it says cells auto. That'll detect the number of cells in the battery, provided that the number of cells in the battery is what your balance port has connected to it. Modes, let's see here what we've got: charge, discharge, and storage. Generally, they're fairly simple. We're going to obviously do charge. In voltage, you can change that up or down, of course, if you're going to go with a high voltage or you want to just get a touch more, but be careful there. Charging current, looks like we have diesel Pete. Look at this, 15 amp, just as it in the spreadsheet, clear down to 0.1 amp. So let's just do 1 amp. And you can select both channels. I missed this in my last one. So if you had two batteries plugged in, see how this one is kind of yellowish colored. That means it's selected. The other one's black. So I would just hit that one. And then if I went start, it would then start charging on both channels. But I don't have both channels plugged in. I just have the one. Actually had that reversed. So now we're charging. And then we can, let me see if I can get this focused. Ooh, my lights are going to be a problem, aren't they? But we can use the scroll wheel to kind of move through here and get our different displays and different statistics about the battery itself. And you can see as it highlights which cell it's charging as it goes through, and it is doing a balanced charging. Let's pop over here to the K1, select our channel 2, which is what we're plugged in over here. You know, channel 1, channel 2 makes sense, doesn't it? Oh, Discord just went off. Got another message. And we press the channel 2 button again. Let's go up to the chemistry of the battery and see what it shows. Should show the same things. Yeah, we've got high voltage LiPo, lithium ion, Fe, PB, nickel metal hydride. What else do we got? Looks like that's it. So I'm just going to do LiPo condition, which is actually your voltage. And then it auto-detected the cell count as a 4S battery. Our current, let's check that out. So this one goes from 10 amp. From 1 amp to 10 amp. Oh, I missed a few in here. Look. So you can set favorites up here. See how it's numbered off to the left? You can set your favorites, kind of a stepping. But it looks like we've got 0.2 all the way up to, what was it, 10? Yeah, and 10. Obviously, I'm not doing that. And then we go start. And yes, hopefully that comes through in video. That is pretty standard for ISDT chargers. They use a fan, and it pretty much turns on most of the time. And it is quite noisy. Keeps the internal components cool. I guess in one safety regard, it also lets you know that it is running. And you need to stay near it so that you can monitor your battery charging, of course, for safety purposes. Note that this one doesn't go around highlighting the different voltages that it's charging. It just stays static, and then the numbers on the screen change. So that's an interface consideration. We also have the percent right up here. If you can read that, it's 55%, versus this one over here gives us a little bit more information about the temperature and the battery across the top bar. Let's go ahead and let's turn this off so we're not all going deaf to it. Oh, long press, stop. It'll probably take it a moment before it actually stops, so I'm going to pause the video here until it does stop. The ISTD fan is slowing down. It's still quite noisy. Hopefully you can hear it. I know my microphone can tend to cut out when I'm not talking. It's the main reason why I'm talking, so that you can hear the sound of the fan as well. But it's just about done. The fan is just about to shut off. Okay, the fan is now shut off. I would estimate that took about 90 seconds. It may have been only a minute 15, but I would estimate still 90 seconds. I want to put this into dark mode so that you can take a look at the K1 in dark mode. Also in the menu, hopefully you can make this out. I keep saying that during the course of this video, but you've got dual task, parallel task, DC power charging channel 1, system settings, and back as well. So backlight is currently on. You've got volume, completion tone does repeat. I kind of can't stand that, so I'm going to change that to single. Split screen, it defaults to 30 seconds. So if you have one particular screen on screen, it will then go back to split screen after 30 seconds. Bat-Go technology, that's something that, I don't know if that's proprietary to ISDT. I know in their materials online, it talks a lot about Bat-Go, and presumably that makes the charger last longer. It also gives you a higher quality charge, so to speak. So something to consider, so you can use Bat-Go for 1 and 2. And I think you can just, well, it doesn't look like there's any options to turn that on or off there. Of course, we've got languages in there as well. And the theme is currently bright. That was the main reason of driving into the menu. So if we turn that to dark, that's pretty cool. I think I prefer dark. I wish I could change the other colors, but I don't mind green and black. It's easier on the eyes, I think. So that's something to consider. You know, the interface is something that we use with these things all the time. You may have a propensity to use a dark theme like this, versus I don't believe we have any sort of theme available to us here. Nope, it doesn't look like it. Nope themes. Now we're back to the home screen, and you can see that on the K1 smart charger. That's really all I have for you in this video. I just wanted to run through these real quick, show you the feature set. They're not that much different from one line to the next as far as these two manufacturers go, and I wanted to have that on-screen presentation of the statistics or the specs for the Hota D6 Pro as well. When we're looking at price, this one comes in at $149. That's current pricing. It may change. You know, we've got a lot of things moving around in this hobby right now. The D6 Pro is $119, and then the K1 is $98. So sub $100 charger. There are some considerations, like if you have big batteries that you want to charge 6S and you want to charge them fast, or you want to use a parallel charging board, you may want more power than is currently available with the K1. But that, again, that's something that you have to judge. If you're going for fast charging and you have those big batteries, then you probably want to look at spending more money and having more power. You probably need to use an external power source for that particular charger that you might find that has the power requirements for the big battery fast charging. So it's an additional cost. Usually you can buy those from our FPV shops that are already pre-wired, so you can just plug them into the XT60 on the back. Of course, there'll be links down in the video description to some places where I can find these. I oftentimes will buy this sort of product from Amazon, because usually when I'm in the need, I'll buy one quickly. And recently I haven't needed to buy any because I've had a few come in for review. But if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or otherwise, please let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if you guys have these. Have you had good luck with either of them? Or even if you just have these brands, including the Hota D6 or the D6 Pro. Let me know what you guys have experienced. That way anybody who does come to watch the channel can learn a little bit more about more experiences out in the wild, rather than somebody who sits in their basement. Yes, I am in the basement making videos about FPV and quad stuff. I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.